If someone acts like your partner but refuses the label, you are not dealing with confusion. You are dealing with a system that wants the benefits of closeness without the exposure of commitment. And the reason this dynamic drives you insane is because your body is reading the behavior correctly while your mind keeps getting denied. They sleep over. They text good morning for a week. They act protective. They get jealous. They share routines with you. They want the comfort of you. But the moment you name it, they pull back. They say they are not ready. They say they do not like labels. They say they are not sure. They say, let us just enjoy it. And you start negotiating with yourself. Maybe the label does not matter. Maybe I am pressuring. Maybe I should be chill. Maybe it will happen naturally. Here is the hard truth that will stabilize you. A label is not a word. A label is a door. A label is exposure. A label is accountability. A label is the moment where the relationship becomes real in the only way the avoidant nervous system fears most, because it means closeness can turn into expectation. In this episode, I'm going to show you what is actually happening in avoidant attachment when they act like a partner but refuse the label, why your anxious system gets hooked, and exactly how to respond in a way that protects your dignity and gives the dynamic one clean chance to become real. If it cannot become real, you will leave with clarity instead of obsession. Let's start with the part most people miss. Avoidant attachment is organized around safety through autonomy. It is not that they do not feel. It is that they do not want to be in a position where their feelings create obligations. They learned early that need equals cost. Dependence equals vulnerability. Closeness equals loss of control. So they build a life where they can connect but always keep an escape hatch. That escape hatch is the undefined relationship. When it is undefined, they can enjoy you without being trapped by the future. They can be close without being responsible for your expectations. They can receive partner-level benefits without partner-level accountability. And because they often are not doing this with malice, they will genuinely tell themselves they are being honest. They are not lying. They are avoiding a level of reality that their nervous system reads as dangerous. Now, let's name the dynamic in a way your body will recognize instantly. This is partner behavior without partner agreement. It is emotional intimacy without relational clarity. It is closeness without commitment. It is the relationship experience without the relationship container. And that container matters because it is what stabilizes the anxious system. The anxious system does not need a fairy tale. It needs predictability. It needs to know where it stands. It needs to know that closeness will not be punished. So, when you live inside undefined closeness, you become hypervigilant. You start monitoring their tone. You start counting days. You start reading pauses. You start interpreting crumbs as proof. You start thinking you can earn clarity by being easy. And the worst part is, you will call it love when it is actually survival. Now, why do avoidants refuse the label specifically? There are three main reasons. The first is identity threat. Many avoidants built their identity around being independent, not needing anyone, not being tied down, not being responsible for someone else's emotional world. A label threatens that identity because it forces them to see themselves as someone who is connected. And connection to them has historically meant risk. The second reason is accountability threat. A label is a social contract, even if it is private. Once you call it something, you can measure behavior against it. You can ask for repair. You can ask for consistency. You can ask questions like, where is this going? And that makes them feel exposed. The third reason is future threat. A label implies continuation. It implies progression. It implies a path. It implies that if you are together, there will be expectations about contact, exclusivity, integrating lives, meeting friends, time allocation, and emotional presence. Even if you never asked for those things, their mind jumps there because they are predicting the cost of closeness. So they keep it undefined to keep the future from arriving. Now, here is the confusing part. They act like a partner because they do want closeness. They want comfort. They want intimacy. They want to be chosen. They want companionship. They want someone who calms them. They want the feeling of being wanted without the pressure of being needed. That is the core contradiction of avoidant attachment. They crave connection and fear dependence at the same time. So they do this one move that creates the most addictive dynamic in dating. They give you just enough closeness to bond, and then they pull away when closeness becomes definable. They are not refusing you. They are refusing the exposure. But you experience it as being refused because your nervous system reads the difference between being loved and being kept. Now let's talk about the hidden contract. This is what they are unconsciously asking you to sign. I will give you partner energy as long as you do not require partner clarity. I will stay close as long as you do not ask me to define. I will be intimate as long as I do not feel trapped. I will come toward you as long as you do not move toward me with a need. And if you violate the hidden contract, they punish you with distance, shutdown, or a speech about pressure. That is why this dynamic is so destabilizing. It teaches you that asking for clarity causes withdrawal. So you stop asking, and you start abandoning yourself. Now, I want you to hear this with full compassion. Wanting the label is not needy. Wanting clarity is not controlling. Wanting to know where you stand after you have been treated like a partner is basic relational hygiene. The label is not about possession. The label is about agreement. It is about making reality match behavior. So the real question is not, why do you want the label? The real question is, why are they acting like a partner if they cannot tolerate the agreement that comes with it? And that leads to the most important distinction in this episode. There are two types of label refusal. The first is temporary fear in a person who is capable of repair. They feel nervous, but they can still talk. They can still reassure. They can still be consistent. They can still move forward slowly. The second is chronic avoidance in a person who uses ambiguity to control access. They do not want to be accountable. They want to keep options. They want to keep you attached without committing. They will give you closeness when it suits them, and distance when you ask for clarity. Your job is not to diagnose which one they are by analyzing their childhood. Your job is to observe their behavior after one calm standard is set. That is how you get out of limbo. Now let's look at the anxious side, because that is where the hook forms. When an anxious person receives partner behavior, their attachment system bonds. Their body starts building a story of us. Your nervous system starts organizing around them. Then the label refusal hits, and your nervous system feels unsafe. So you try to restore safety by doing what anxious attachment always does. You try to become more lovable. You become more flexible. You become easier. You stop asking. You accept crumbs. You pretend you are fine. You reward ambiguity. And that reward teaches the avoidance system that they can keep the benefits without the agreement. So the dynamic locks in. You become the regulator of their comfort, and you stop being the protector of your own. That is why this episode matters, because the way out is not more communication. The way out is one clean standard delivered with calm energy and then backed by behavior. Let's get specific. If you are in this dynamic, you need to stop having conversations that sound like emotional pleading. Those conversations will activate their defenses and make you feel worse. Instead, you say one thing that is true, simple, and non-dramatic. It sounds like this: I like you. I enjoy what we have. I am not asking for a rushed timeline, but I am not available for partner behavior without clarity. I need us to be on the same page. If you are not ready for that, I respect it, but I will step back. That sentence is not an ultimatum. It is a boundary. It gives the relationship a clean chance to become real. It also removes the hidden contract. You are no longer paying for closeness with self-abandonment. Now, what happens next is the test. If they have capacity, they will not love the conversation, but they will respond with some form of repair. They might say they are scared, but they want you. They might move slowly, but clearly. They might increase consistency. They might talk about exclusivity. They might name the relationship in their own way. The key is not the words. The key is behavior that reduces ambiguity. If they lack capacity, you will see one of three responses. They will disappear. They will get defensive and accuse you of pressure. Or they will offer a vague future promise without any change in behavior. The famous, "let us see where it goes." That is not a plan. That is a delay. And delay is a strategy when you benefit from limbo. Now let's talk about the most painful part. Why does it feel so hard to walk away when you know you are in limbo? Because the intermittent reinforcement is powerful. Partner behavior is the reward. Label refusal is the withdrawal. Your brain becomes addicted to restoring the reward. Every time they give you a burst of closeness, your body relaxes. Every time they pull away, your body panics. That cycle creates obsession. So if you want to be free, you need to stop treating the label as a negotiation and start treating it as a filter. The label is not the prize. Consistency is the prize. Mutual capacity is the prize. The label is just the proof that you are both in the same reality. Now, I want to address a thought many people have. But what if labels scare them and I lose them? Here's the truth. If clarity loses them, you did not lose a relationship. You lost a fantasy. You lost access to a dynamic that required you to stay uncertain. A healthy relationship can handle naming itself. A healthy connection does not punish you for wanting to know where you stand. So this is the moment where you choose self-respect over hope. Now, another subtle point. Avoidants often use partner behavior as a way to keep you close while they decide. They might not even know they are doing it. They are sampling intimacy. They are testing how it feels. They are regulating their loneliness. They are using you to soothe their nervous system. And because they are not fully conscious of it, they will say things like, "I like you a lot, but I am not ready." That can be real. But your timeline matters too. Your nervous system matters too. So the question becomes, are they moving toward you over time? Or are they keeping you in the same place while enjoying the benefits? That is the only question that matters. Moving toward you looks like increased consistency, clearer plans, integrating lives, proactive repair after conflict, and a willingness to name what you are. Keeping you in place looks like affection without follow-through, closeness that resets after every talk, and a pattern where you are always the one who has to ask. Now, let's make this simple with 3 signs you are being kept in partner energy without the label. 1. They act committed in private, but avoid any public or structural commitment. No planning ahead, no meeting friends, no clear integration. 2. They respond to your needs with shutdown. If you ask for clarity or consistency, they call it pressure. 3. The dynamic resets. After every closeness peak, they pull away, then return as if nothing happened. That reset prevents progression. It keeps you in a loop. Now, the way you break a loop is you remove the reward. You stop giving partner benefits without partner agreement. That does not mean you become cold. It means you become congruent. If they want intimacy, it happens inside a mutually defined connection. If they cannot do that, you step back, warmly, calmly, without drama. Because drama gives them justification. Calm standards force reality. Now, let's talk about what stepping back actually looks like. It is not blocking. It is not a speech. It is simply reducing access. Fewer hangouts, no sleepovers, less emotional labor. You stop acting like a partner while they refuse to be one. And you watch what they do. If they value you, they will feel the difference and move toward you. If they only valued the benefits, they will fade. And that fade is the closure you needed. Now, I want to say something that might sting, but will free you. If someone refuses the label is not the issue. The issue is that they are not choosing you clearly. A label is just language for choice. And choice is the foundation of safety. This is why your body will not relax in a situationship, no matter how nice the moments are. Your body wants a stable base. Now you might ask, what if they are avoidant but they really love me? Love without behavior is not a bond. Love without capacity is not a relationship. The goal is not to prove they love you. The goal is to build a life with someone who can show up in a way that makes your nervous system steady. Anything else will eventually cost you. You will become smaller. You will start managing yourself constantly. You will start bargaining with your needs. That is not love. That is adaptation. Now, there is one more layer that makes this dynamic feel so confusing, and it is the reason you keep doubting yourself. Partner behavior without the label creates a double bind. If you act like a partner, you are told you are assuming too much. If you pull back, you are told you are overreacting. If you ask for clarity, you are told you are pressuring. If you accept the ambiguity, you are quietly training your nervous system to tolerate inconsistency. This is why you feel like you cannot win, because the rules keep moving. And this is also why I want you to stop treating this as a romantic mystery and start treating it as a structure problem. A relationship container is not a vibe. It is an agreement about what the behavior means. Without agreement, behavior becomes plausible deniability. They can do partner things and then deny partner responsibility. They can take the best parts of being close and opt out of the parts that require steadiness. And the anxious system cannot settle in that. The anxious system starts scanning for proof because there is no defined base. So you end up living off micro signals instead of building real security. Now let's talk about why labels specifically activate avoidant threat. For many avoidants, the label is not scary because it is a word. It is scary because it implies permanence, and permanence implies loss of autonomy. It implies that your feelings now matter in a way they cannot easily exit. It implies that if they disappoint you, it will be a failure, not a fade. It implies they may be expected to repair. And repair is the part avoidants often lack skill in, not because they are heartless, but because they learned early that emotions were handled alone. So when you ask for the label, the avoidance system hears a forecast of future demands, even if you are not demanding anything. This is why you can ask softly and still trigger shutdown. Their system is not responding to your tone. It is responding to the meaning it predicts. Now here is where you regain power. You stop arguing about labels, and you start defining your standard in terms of behavior and emotional reality. Because the truth is, you do not need them to use a specific word. You need them to live in the same reality as you. So, instead of trying to win a label conversation, you set a clarity standard that is almost impossible for a healthy person to argue with. You say, I am not asking for intensity. I am asking for alignment. If we are acting like partners, I need us to be honest that we are building something, and I need consistency that matches it. If you are not available for that, I respect it, but I cannot keep doing partner behavior without shared agreement. Then you pause. And the pause matters. Because anxious attachment wants to keep talking until it feels safe. But safety does not come from more words here. Safety comes from whether their behavior can meet the standard. Now, let's predict what happens after you set the standard, so you are not blindsided. One response is sincere fear with a real move forward. They might say they are scared, but they will also offer something concrete. More consistency, clearer plans, a willingness to be exclusive, a willingness to name it in a way that feels safe to them. The second response is vague reassurance with no change. They will say, "You mean a lot." They will say, "They do not want to lose you." They will say, "Soon, later, not right now." But nothing changes. That is not confusion. That is a stall. The third response is defensiveness. They accuse you of pressure. They say you are trying to control them. They say labels do not matter. This is the most important moment to stay calm, because defensiveness is often their way of escaping accountability. You do not debate. You simply repeat the standard. I hear you. I am not trying to control you. I am telling you what I am available for. Then you act accordingly. The fourth response is disappearance. If they vanish after you set a calm standard, that is not you being too much. That is them confirming they cannot hold relational reality. And it is painful, but it is also closure. Now, let's talk about the part that keeps you stuck. Many people think the solution is to become lower maintenance, so the avoidant will choose them. But the moment you train yourself to accept partner energy without clarity, you are also training the other person to believe you will stay without being chosen. You are handing them the most dangerous deal: full access without responsibility. And your nervous system will pay for it with anxiety, obsession, and loss of self. So the real solution is not to be easier. The solution is to be congruent. If you are treated like a partner, you require partner-level steadiness. If you are not in a defined connection, you do not do partner-level access. That is not punishment. That is alignment. Now, I want to give you a reality check that is deeply calming. In secure dynamics, the label conversation does not create a crisis. It creates a deeper exhale. A secure person might still move slowly, but they do not punish you for clarity. They do not deny reality. They do not make you feel embarrassing for wanting to know where you stand. They might say, "I want to keep building. I want to be exclusive. I am not ready for big steps yet, but I am choosing you." That sentence is what your nervous system needs. Choosing. Not vibes, not moments, not chemistry. Choosing. So, if your clarity request triggers a collapse, the collapse is data. It tells you the container they want is not a relationship. It is a flexible access arrangement, and you are allowed to opt out. Now, here is the part that makes you magnetic instead of anxious. When you set the standard, you do not chase the outcome. You let them come to you. And you do not do it in a cold way. You keep warmth, but you remove overfunctioning. You stop being the one who plans everything. You stop being the one who rescues the connection. You stop being the one who smooths every rupture. You let their capacity show itself. Because the most painful truth is that many people are not confused. They are comfortable. They are comfortable with your presence, your intimacy, your emotional labor, and the way you make their life easier, while still not being willing to carry the responsibility of choosing you. Your standard interrupts comfort, and that is why it works. It forces reality, and reality is what your nervous system has been begging for. Now, let's close with a calm but powerful framework you can carry. Partner behavior without a label is a request for benefits without accountability. Your desire for clarity is normal and healthy. You do not chase clarity. You set a standard once, calmly, and you observe behavior. If they cannot meet the standard, you step back and remove partner access, not to punish, but to protect. And if they come toward you with consistency and repair, you allow the relationship to grow. If they do not, you do not stay in limbo, hoping it becomes something. You leave with dignity, and you let your nervous system recover. Because the right person will not make you argue for reality. The right person will not need you to shrink your needs so they can stay comfortable. The right person can handle the sentence, "What are we?" And if they cannot handle that sentence, they are not ready to hold your heart. Welcome to PsychBond. You're safe here.